In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
There's no excuse for right-wing behavior concerning situations where people are murdered. That's the case in the attacks on Benghazi. Although the scandal is dying down, you know Fox News will keep bringing it up like they have Acorn, an organization that disbanded 3 years ago. But, as usual, the lines Fox News and the right present are not the same as those which the Democrats and the left present. So who's correct? The right says it was retaliation for 9/11 taking place on that day. Was it? Did President Obama make a, quote, brief statement in the Rose Garden before taking off to, quote, party with Beyonce and Jay-Z? Was it because of a video on YouTube, as many claim? Let's find out.
Good morning. I'm George Stephanopoulos. We are rejoining you again because President Obama is about to speak in the White House Rose Garden about the violence that broke out in Libya overnight.
Overnight. The attacks took place after the sun went down in Washington. Now, consider time zones. Libya is 6 hours ahead of Washington, which means the attacks took place on the 12th, not the 11th. Let's listen some more.
As we have said, 4 Americans killed, including the U.S. ambassador. It came when a group of armed and angry militants attacked the consulate there. They had guns. They appears to have had rockets. They set the consulate on fire. There were several Americans inside being guarded by Libyan security. And at the time right now, we do know that the ambassador and 3 other Americans, including an information officer, have been killed. It was all sparked by an anti-Muslim film produced by an Israeli living in California. That film also sparked protests and attacks on the U.S. Embassy in Cairo.
The Cairo attacks are never mentioned by the right, and other attacks throughout the Muslim world are generally ignored by both sides. While a YouTube video could cause trouble, it is seldom on this scale, nor so organized. So, what was the spark?
In fact, apparently they're blocking that YouTube in Afghanistan, and the Taliban is vowing revenge from Afghanistan. Our reporter Mohammed Leela tells us from there that the Taliban is issuing statements. Everyone is on guard, George.
This was not retaliation for 9/11. It was a response to a blatant attack on their religion. Let's go on.
President Obama has already put out a written statement this morning condemning the attacks, ordering increased security at American diplomatic posts around the world.
Another right-wing claim is that nothing was done to help the embassy. With global concerns looming, no president would focus on only one embassy. And while it's true that help could have been sent, it was so far away that anyone in his right mind wouldn't bother because the situation would most likely be over before they arrived. Fuel is the most expensive part of transportation, and that is a major cost that the military tries to save whenever possible because of how much they already use in training and transport. To the military mind, there are 2 issues: fuel costs and leaving the base wide open to attack, and the commanding officer must weigh the time used with the costs to make a decision.
Every day, all across the world, American diplomats and civilians work tirelessly to advance the interests and values of our nation. Often, they are away from their families. Sometimes they brave great danger. Yesterday, 4 of these extraordinary Americans were killed in an attack on our diplomatic post in Benghazi.
President Obama's speech was not on the 11th, but the 12th. This destroys the right-wing talking point that he made a brief statement before running off to, quote, party with Beyonce and Jay-Z on the 11th.
President Obama is about to speak in the White House Rose Garden about the violence that broke out in Libya overnight.
Of course, yesterday was already a painful day for our nation as we marked the solemn memory of the 9/11 attacks.
More proof that the speech was on the 12th.
We mourned with the families who were lost on that day. I visited the graves of troops who made the ultimate sacrifice in Iraq and Afghanistan at the hallowed grounds of Arlington Cemetery, and had the opportunity to say thank you and visit some of our wounded warriors at Walter Reed. And then last night, we learned the news of this attack in Benghazi.
Last night, word of the attack would have reached them in only a few minutes.
As Americans, let us never, ever forget that our freedom is only sustained because there are people who are willing to fight for it, to stand up for it, and in some cases lay down their lives for it. Our country is only as strong as the character of our people and the service of those, both civilian and military, who represent us around the globe. No acts of terror will ever shake the resolve of this great nation.
The right wing loves to jump on this phrase, acts of terror. Listen to how the president addresses this phrase, then how he continues in alluding to the attacks.
Alter that character or eclipse the light of the values that we stand for. Today we mourn for more Americans who represent the very best of the United States of America. We will not waver in our commitment to see that justice is done for this terrible act, and make no mistake, justice will be done.
The right wing loves to take statements out of context. From this section of the speech, we see that's exactly what happened. The description of the attitude toward the Benghazi attackers is the same as that of those who commit acts of terror. Although he did not specifically state it, he was putting Benghazi in the acts of terror category. So, who started this mess?
Mitt Romney putting out a statement criticizing the Obama administration for having their first reaction to be an apology for that film. Now, Romney is basing that on incorrect chronology. Actually, the statement apologizing for the bigotry in the film came out from the Cairo embassy before any of these attacks, but Mitt Romney doubling down, saying that when he sees a criticism, a point to criticize, he will do so.
This is 100% true. The apology was issued from Cairo before the attacks, and Mitt Romney, President Obama's opponent in the election, which was going on at the time, would have attacked Barack Obama at every turn. This leaves one issue untouched. Barack Obama went to a fundraiser held by Beyonce and Jay-Z. The right wing claims he went to Las Vegas by ignoring the Benghazi attacks on 9/11. But as we've seen, the attacks came too late for that. So when did it happen? To find out, we have to get one key piece of evidence and match it with this clip.
They are the first family of hip-hop, but tonight they jump back into the political arena, hosting a fundraiser for President Barack Obama. 100 supporters are expected to pluck down $40,000 a head to attend the bash inside Jay-Z's 40/40 Club. In a message to supporters, Beyonce wrote, "She's met the president, and it's an opportunity you don't want to miss." Beyonce has supported the first family before, singing at an inaugural ball. Before the president comes to Chelsea in the 40/40, he's set to appear on The Late Show with David Letterman in the afternoon.
If this had been on September 11th, as the right wing claims, Benghazi wouldn't have been an issue. In fact, a little research into this clip and into the Letterman appearance confirm what articles say about the fundraiser. They were on September 18th, a full week after the attacks. In addition, this is in New York City. The right wing has said it was in Las Vegas. With the right wing side of the Benghazi scandal completely destroyed, you now see why Republicans are not to be trusted. I am the anti-Republican warrior. So long.